If you drink mushroom coffee for 3 weeks, you might feel less bloated, a flatter belly, and a more defined jaw.
Folks, I'm drinking smoothie.
You feel less.
Smoothie,
That doesn't mean you buy whatever mushroom coffee you find on Amazon. There's a lot of cheap.
smoothie I made. So I'm drinking.
What you do want is organic, non-GMO mushroom coffee that's been third-party tested. Right? Also made with premium arabica beans and a prebiotic blend for better digestion. It's smooth. It's like a creamy, nutty latte, and it comes out to less than $1 a cup.
Good.
Going on right now with free shipping and free full size dip. You know what? I'm gonna drop that info for you. That is very roasted in it.
Smoothie I use grapefruits, pineapple, carrot, apple, with ice, lemon, and blend everything together. Tastes so good. Smoothie. It's a very good smoothie. Good smoothie. Girl, smoothie. It's good.
potential. You don't spend enough time around economists who use weird terms like human capital all the time. But anyway,
all the time.
no, right. But the reality, okay. Uh, First of all, stock market. The stock market's a terrible gauge of anything because it's very speculative. It's animal spirits and all of that. But to the extent that it's anything, the stock market is a claim on future profits. And if you have an economy in which profits are soaring but wages are falling, yeah, you expect the stock market to look okay, but that is not the measure. In some ways, the rising stock market is actually a measure of how badly the economy is performing in terms of rewarding American workers. And then, yeah, AI. I mean, there's this is something. It's kind of like a bubble is looking like, except it's more of a kind of a fad, giant exercise of fear of missing out, in which a lot of companies rushed to use AI. Oh, there's you must use AI if you can't figure out what to do with it, and then all of a sudden realize, oh, this is sort of not working. It's costing too much money, and so
Watch yourself, folks. Smoothie. I enjoyed the smoothie. It was good.
do a lot in the future the same way that the internet did. But in terms of likely misallocation of money, this is probably making the dot-com bubble look like a small diversion.
Wow. And so you do see that the makings of a bubble.
Well, it's not necessarily even, it's not even so much the stock prices, although which is what happened in the dot-com era. A lot of it is just that you have all of these companies feeling that they must go all in on AI because everyone else is doing it and what will the market think, and each of them believing that the other companies must know what they're doing and rush to AI. And it certainly has, the technology makes the nothing but $3 and cents is really part of the price out. But the psychology of business people doing this is very obvious and very clear that I'm not quite sure what to do with AI. For sure, a lot of companies are still like $1 billion, and I'm not sure what to do with it, but we're expected to get to do it. And so I'm not sure business, especially a thing, but we are kind of in that era, right? In general, it's violently healing and never mind actually doing the math.
Yeah. All fair points, and broadening beyond sort of the news of the day. I think it was really interesting to get your perspective, Professor Paul Kirkman. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good to see you. Coming up, Donald Trump's obsessed with crowd sizes, so he's not going to like what happened at the National Mall Fair. But first, I'm going to show you how conservatives and some in the MAGA universe are taking those losses at the Supreme Court. We'll even get to the Statue of Liberty reference that shouldn't have been.
Well, it's spring. Plus size fashion. And if it breaks in that all, well, it's level.
What would be the price? He said, there is no price. I said, that's nice.
Donald Trump's epic historic corruption in plain sight. I think I can say that we're going to do a flyover like no flyover. This is going to lead a group of many, many planes. Tonight, Maggie Lieberman and Jonathan Swan on the president's explosion of personal wealth, its new agenda for American intelligence, and regime change here at home. That
Dr. Golder of races, of all races, of all religions, that's clear message. We will not wait.
the 21-year-old candidate who just shocked the political world in Colorado joins me live. After a major round on birthright citizenship, the MAGA plans for a kind of pregnancy test to get into America. From America, you have to now think very carefully about who you let into your country. But all ends starts right now. Mercedes as America's 250th birthday nears as a heat wave bears down on much of the country, powered by climate change, and the price of gas still hovers around $4 a gallon. Donald Trump, well, he's playing with his favorite new toy. taking a maiden voyage on his new Air Force One, the 747 he accepted from the Qatari government. It's just flagrant open violation of the Constitution, which bars foreign gifts like this. And that's not a small trinket. That's the plane with the new paint scheme, so reminiscent of the old Trump organization aircraft.
So this was a gift from a country that's treated us very well. And they were an ally of us over in the Middle East, Qatar. And I went to Boeing and I said, who has the best one? They said, Qatar. There's never been a plane like it. So I said, I'd like to use it. And the Amir, Habib, was a great gentleman. He said, no, I'd like to make a contribution to the country.
You'll be shocked to hear that that's not exactly how it all went down, that it's not just a free gift to the country. First of all, the Qataris tried to sell it for years, no one would buy it. And then, of course, there's the $934 million, almost $1 billion of your money it appears to have taken from the U.S. government to make the foreign-owned jet suitable for presidential travel. So it costs $1 billion. Also, except for the fact it's not for future presidents. According to Trump himself, the jet will be transferred to the yet-to-be-created Trump Presidential Library after he leaves office in 2029. Also, it was not a gift. Multiple outlets reported at the time that Trump asked Qatar for the plane, which you see there as Trump poses in front of him. As we just learned from Regime Change, the new book on Trump's second term by New York Times reporters Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan, at some point after Qatar agreed to give Trump the plane, it was announced the aircraft would be a gift, an idea that a senior official would say was generated at the this level. So he kind of just took the plane and then charged you $1 billion for it. Money that could have gone to, like, I don't know, healthcare premiums. And then he's going to keep it after he's done. I mean, at this point, the corruption is so frequent and so brazen that he's shoving our faces in. I think he's sort of delighting in the transgressive thrill. I'm not just talking about his vanity projects like the ballroom and the reflecting pool, the arch, the weird passport, which appears to think doesn't go to citizens but to immigrants. The restoration of Washington's fountains, even though a new Washington Post analysis finds that for the past 3 months, Trump has talked about those projects more than he's talked about healthcare wages. That's just the tip of the iceberg. On Tuesday, reporters gained access to nearly 1,000 pages of new financial disclosure forms showing that Trump's reported income soared to more than $2.2 billion last week, as he took in more than $1.4 billion from crypto and digital schemes alone. In fact, according to Reuters investigation, Trump and his sons have added at least $2.3 billion to the family fortune from their main crypto ventures, while the investors they've wooed have lost a near identical amount. Think about that. While the investors they wooed lost him up. In other words, a direct transfer of $2.3 billion from those folks out there into the pockets of the president and his family. In response, a White House spokesperson said, all actions by President Trump's administration are taken in the best interest of the American people. Again, they're playing in our faces, right? Sure. Those aren't investors, those are benefactors. The President of the United States says that's his business, not yours.
Instead of very different year last year, what message does this send to the average American, especially those?
I don't get involved in my personal. We have funds that run my money. I never speak to any of the